Good morning. I'm awake before the dawn again, which means that this is a listening, not a watchy. It might not be very long either, because really what I want to say can be captured in a few sentences. It's strange to me that literally everyone in the world can look out at the world and see things that they don't like about it, but then they don't take that skill and look at themselves. So with the same mouth, you'll say, I don't like it when people disrespect me verbally. You'll turn around and disrespect the next person you speak to verbally, because it's more important to you to notice other people's behavior than to correct your own. And so that brings me to motivation, and somebody recently called me one of the most self-motivated people they know. I don't know that I'm motivated because I'm constantly complaining even to that person that I'm not motivated to do the things that I'm doing. It's just, I don't like your behavior, so I'm not going to repeat it. And in not repeating it, that forces me into a position to do what you're not doing, which is speak into a camera about what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling almost at all times. Because if no one knows, no one can correct themselves. But that does force you into a situation to realize that no one is forcing me to do what I'm doing, but also no one is incentivizing me to do what I'm doing. So there is no reason, there's no justification, there's no motivation, there's no incentive for you to change your behavior besides self-respect. And self-respect requires you to look at yourself twice. Watch my long-form video on how respect actually works. And since you're unwilling to look at yourself once, you can't give yourself self-respect. And so how can you ask anyone else to respect you if we have to do it differently than how you do it? How can you ask us to behave differently than you behave when the oldest idiom in the leadership handbook is not to ask people to do what you are unwilling to do? If you are unwilling to fight and die on that hill, why the fuck are you asking me to? You're not the fucking king, and you most certainly are not an elected representative. Who do you think you are, really? I like to imagine that I'm still an animal, because humans are still an animal. And so I like to imagine that I told you this was going to be a short one, and I keep ending it and then restarting it to tack on other ideas because I've got the 3 minutes, I should use it. So I like to imagine that I'm a non-verbal or a pre-verbal animal. And I like to imagine that your brains actually comprehend non- and pre-verbal signals better than verbal signals. Because body language never lies, but your mouth lies constantly. So one of the things I like to remember is the golden rule: treat others how you would like to be treated. Well, you can also think about that as treat others how you want them to treat you, as an example of how to treat you in return. If I treated you the way you treat me, excepting Captain Joe, obviously, and hopefully Andy if he ever returns, I would only be cruel and unkind to you. Now imagine what cruelty and unkindness would look like from this camera.